Victor Wembanyama was never supposed to be the villain. He was framed as the savior, the next generational unicorn, a blessing to the game. But sometimes, when something is too powerful, too gifted, too inevitable, it stops being a miracle and becomes a threat. From the moment he touched the NBA hardwood, the atmosphere shifted. Something felt off, not wrong, just unnatural, like reality was bending around him. He wasn't just tall, he wasn't just skilled, he was impossible, like a player the league hadn't unlocked yet, like a beta test got leaked into the real game. It wasn't just that he could shoot, dribble, and defend. It was how he did it, that calm, that precision, like someone playing chess with superpowers. The league had spent decades building systems, roles, matchups, counters, and suddenly, Wemby walked in and broke every one of them without saying a word. He didn't scream, he didn't flex, he didn't celebrate. He just operated, like he was running code while everyone else was still figuring out the UI. And it all started way before he hit the draft, because Wembanyama wasn't found. He was forged. Born in Le Chesnay, just outside Paris, he was never meant to be ordinary. His bloodline alone feels like a secret project. His mother, a pro-level basketball coach who taught him geometry before jump shots. His father, an elite track athlete built like a panther. His siblings, both athletes. Hooping wasn't just encouraged, it was engineered. From the start, his training was different. No highlight drills, no chasing mixtapes. He studied balance, timing, angles, footwork. He was mastering movements meant for guards at 6 feet 8 inches, then 6 feet 10 inches, then 7 feet 2 inches. By the time he hit 7 feet 4 inches, he hadn't lost a step. He just gained limbs. He wasn't a tall kid learning the game. He was a basketball brain being uploaded into a monster frame. Coaches in France didn't just see talent, they saw a glitch, something they couldn't quite explain. At 14, scouts whispered about him like a fable. By 15, NBA execs were flying across the ocean just to make sure he was real. By 17, he was blocking threes, hitting sidestep jumpers, and running fast breaks as the ball handler, in a grown man's league. And all the while, he stayed calm, composed, unbothered, like he was waiting for the league to catch up. So by the time he was drafted, it wasn't hype, it was warning. Because everyone watching knew, once he adjusted, once he learned the speed, once he felt the rhythm of the NBA, it was over. Guards can't get past him. Wings can't contain him. Every player archetype becomes obsolete when he steps on the floor. Bigs? They get dragged to the perimeter and turned to statues. Guards? He erases their layups like pop-up ads. Even the new wave, Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Green, they come in confident, explosive, bold. But when Wemby steps across half court, that confidence fades. Not because they aren't elite, but because he is something else. Ant might drop 30 on anyone else. But against Wemby, those drives become floaters. Ja's hang time doesn't matter if you're hanging beneath a skyscraper. Even Paolo and Chet, future stars in their own right, look like kids trying to solve a puzzle that keeps changing shapes. And it's not just defense. Offensively, he bends the game in ways no coach can prep for. A 7'4" dude running pick and roll as the ball handler, that shouldn't work, but it does. Fadeaway threes with 2 hands in his face, still cash. Putbacks from outside the paint, somehow, he gets there. He doesn't need a system, he is the system. He doesn't need spacing, he creates it, just by existing. He doesn't need a matchup advantage. Every matchup is his advantage. What makes it even more terrifying is that he's just getting started. He hasn't bulked up yet. He hasn't hit his mental prime. He hasn't had a playoff series to fully unleash whatever dark energy he's hiding. The league thinks it's adjusting now, but they're adjusting to the intro. Every new generation has their icons. Luka is a surgeon. Tatum is an assassin. Ant is a beast. Ja is electricity. But Wemby is the anomaly, the final boss. The player who makes the other stars look mortal. Even veterans feel it. KD said he's never seen anything like him. LeBron called him an alien. That wasn't hype. That was respect. That was warning. And the scariest part? He doesn't want to be the villain. But the game made him one. Because the fans start to turn when someone dominates too easily. Because rival stars start to resent the cheat code. Because every highlight he drops is a message to the rest of the league. You're not safe. So now you see Ant rallying up, Scoot training like a madman, Chet bulking with purpose. Everyone's trying to find something that might slow him down. But deep down, they all know what's coming. Wemby isn't just the future. He's the end of the era of positions, of roles, of traditional matchups. He's chaos in a controlled form, and he doesn't even look angry doing it. That blank expression, that's focus, that's confidence. That's the face of a villain who doesn't think he's the villain. But the league knows. They see it in the eyes of defenders after he blocks their fourth shot. They hear it in the silence of the home crowd after he drops 40. They feel it in the game tape when coaches run out of ideas. Some players rise to the challenge. Others vanish under the lights. Wemby isn't waiting for either. He's just moving forward. And every step he takes, the rest of the league falls a little further behind. You can try to game plan it. You can try to build a super team. You can try to convince yourself he's overhyped. But when the lights turn on and Wemby stretches those arms out like a shadow over the court, you remember exactly why they called him a generational talent. And you realize the villain won't stop, because the villain was never here to play fair. He was here to change everything.